It's been far too long since a video, about 4 months, and that's on me. But I have a newborn on the way, but with the Ludem Dare jam just on the horizon, I thought it couldn't be a better time to get in. I do it every single year and I will continue this going forwards. For this jam, I teamed up with 3 strangers, Scott the artist, William and myself the programmers, and Brandon the musician. We were ready to tackle this jam's theme of delivery. Now, we brainstormed a bunch of different game ideas, but in the end we decided to create a beat 'em up style game, but with a twist. Think of Overwatch's payload game mode. Players will have to escort a payload through a dangerous town without letting it get destroyed and escort the prisoner to the prison. Now, my first task was to design the spawning system, which would dictate where each wave of enemies would appear and how many the player would have to defeat before moving forwards. We drew inspiration from games like Castle Crashers, and I worked tirelessly to make sure that each area felt kind of unique and challenging. While I was busy with that, Scott was working on the player character's design and animations. He worked on getting a walking and idle animation done for now, so the character looked more live. We wanted something that made you enjoy looking at it when it happened. Now, his art style has a lot of inspirations from classics like Yoshi's Island and Paper Mario, so he was trying to create a vibrant character who looked fantastic. Meanwhile, Will focused on the player controller. He designed an intricate fighting system that would let players take down foes in style. And Brandon was making the background music for the game, which you can actually hear in the background of this video. Now, at this point in the jam, we decided to shrink everything because we realized we made too much content. It would be too much to have any more than we did. This meant that Scott would focus on enemy art and animation for the environmental props, which we will see implemented later. No beat 'em up game is complete without a combo tracker, and that's where I came in. I designed a system that would track each hit the player landed, encouraging them to keep the momentum going with every successful strike. We really wanted to emphasize the combo system, making sure players could actually see they were doing something. So these are the 4 that we went for: nice, great, awesome, and wow. There were 3 different sprite sheets available, so I picked from each one and made the last a rainbow for doing super well. I set up a nice UI based on Scott's design. We have a really nice background that doesn't feel static. We added in some shifting of movement so it felt like you were traveling distance. And then I added in the main menu with a design from Scott. At this time, I went to bed. And before I knew it, we had now 2 fully functioning enemies, one close combat and the other long ranged. We'll call them Bill and Bob. We ended up sitting on the idea that you would take a prisoner to the prison, and this was at the point we realized what kind of game we were actually going for. And we'd also defend from the bandits trying to free them. Now, we had a lot of ideas for this, and we decided that it was probably best to try and keep it as simple as possible. We set up the follow logic so the carriage would follow the player and then slide into each zone where you'd fight them off. And once this was done, before we knew it, we had 4 hours left. We still didn't have the prison nor any sound effects. So for the last few hours, Scott had finished with the prison and Will had been squashing bugs, and I finished off the design of the level, added the go marker for each wave, and then started smashing in all the audio effects. Woke up the next morning to find that my team had uploaded everything went smoothly, and we got very positive feedback. Probably one of the most rewarding game jams I think I've participated in, but it definitely helped having a good 2D artist on board to make it really look good. So I met some really awesome people who I never thought I'd try and collaborate with, but I just jumped into a random group and the end product actually turned out really well. I also want to showcase the game to you guys. I want you guys to have a look, play the game. The itch link is down below. Thanks for watching, and I have a couple more videos in the works, so bear with me whilst I get through them. Work's been busy, and I'm very restricted to how much time I can actually spend on these. But enough with me boring you. Bye-bye.